Everyone, and welcome to Viewpoint. I'm Jim Hadley. Our topic this morning, comebacks, how to get out of ruts, and strategies for dealing with setbacks. And our guest this morning, Willie Jolley. He is the best-selling author, national radio show host, and columnist, dubbed America's comeback guru. His latest book is Turned Setbacks into Greenbacks, 7 Secrets for Going Up in Down Times. Also with us this morning, clinical psychologist Dr. Tamara Jackson, specializing in depression, stress management, and life transitions. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Good to see you back on Viewpoint, we should say.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Before we get going with some strategies and advice for our viewers out there, let's talk about these times, because it has been a while since we've met on Viewpoint. And these are particularly challenging times. From what you're seeing and what you're hearing out there, how are these times different for people in terms of coping and coming back?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot that people are going through, especially when you look at the economic time that we're in, and also the fact that, you know, we are a country at war. There are people who are not only having particular setbacks themselves, but they also have people close to them that are going through, you know, very stressful times. And, you know, I think it's important that people allow themselves an opportunity to really take a look at that, because sometimes we can get so busy with life and we can get moving and get going and really kind of distract ourselves from taking care of ourselves, especially on that psychological and spiritual level that we need in order to weather these times so that we can get our lives back on track and even go further.
Weathering these times, Willie, is all what your new book is about.
Right.
And you talk about a real shift in thinking and behaviors. The book inspires and motivates, but this is all about flipping a switch, too.
Yeah, it's a change of thinking. I have found over the last few years with my radio show and the different things and people I've interviewed, I've found that there are a lot of strategies that people have used to get through tough times before, and the people I interviewed told one story after another, and once I boiled it all down, there were a systematic strategy level of 7 points that they continued to say, if you do these things, you can get through them, and not only get through them and survive them, but thrive in the midst of them. And that's why I wanted to get the message out, because let me tell you why I actually wrote the book was last year all of us heard the same story. A gentleman in California lost his job at a healthcare organization. His wife had lost her job 30 days earlier, and the only thing this poor pitiful man could think to do was go home, take a gun, shoot his wife, shoot his 5 babies, and then shoot himself, because he had no hope. And I looked at that story, hollered at the television, and said, no, you don't have to do that. You can survive this and thrive in the midst of it if you know how. And that's what we wanted to help get the word out so people could learn how to do it.
There is a 12-step program that you have initially off, and one that jumped out at me is recognize it's life.
That's
it's
right.
life 101, and it happens.
Happens to everybody. Everybody has a setback, and everybody has a recession sooner or later. Everybody. Everybody is going to have either a corporate recession, where it's everybody involved in what we're in now, or a personal recession, where you got more month than you have money. Anybody ever been there?
Everybody.
Everybody. They're going to have children who need to go to college, or they're going to have a illness that comes up, or they're going to have some change in their job structure. Everybody is going to experience sooner or later, and this book is written to help people, whether it's corporate or personal, to get through it, because it is life. Everybody has setbacks. Everybody has challenges, but a setback is a setup for a comeback.
I like that.
Come
Memorable.
on, somebody.
Memorable. Dr. Jackson, a lot of people react with anger or bitterness or maybe some self-doubt. These are normal negative emotions, though, that are perfectly understandable if somebody has lost a job, a house, a spouse.
Absolutely. It's very normal when we go through a situation that's stressful like that to perhaps feel down, to feel really stressed, to have a lot of self-doubt, even question your worth and capabilities. And I think it's very important for people to realize that that's a very normal process to go through when you've experienced some type of loss. I think the problem comes into play is that when people sometimes get into this space, they really start to isolate themselves, and they may start to feel ashamed and really down, and they tend to pull themselves away from the things in life that has typically really helped to revive them and keep them going. Like they may isolate more from family and friends, they may pull themselves out of activities that they've typically enjoyed doing because they don't know how to reach out to people. people, and also to just put a call out there for friends and family who know someone who's going through this. Sometimes we may tend to step back because we don't really know how to approach the person.
And what should you do? How involved should you get?
I think the main thing to do is to show that you're there to support, don't be afraid to reach out to people. And when you reach out to them, it's not that you have to reach out to them and have them talk about what they're going through, but just maybe perhaps invite them out to do things, or just call to chit-chat about normal things that's going on, because I think it's that piece of normalcy and helping people to understand that they're still connected even in the midst of what they're going through can really, I think, help to set people up to get more to that, moving forward, to bouncing back.
And Willie, in your book, Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks, there's so many personal stories that really everybody can relate to, and we're going to get to some of those when we come right back. We are just getting started this morning on Viewpoint, so stick around. And welcome back to Viewpoint. We are talking about comebacks today. And Willie Jolley, I want to ask you, one of the lines in your book, your trials can transform you. And in hindsight, I've had it happen to me, and you hear about this when people look back at some of the toughest parts of their life. They're really grateful and thankful for them because it put them on a different path or direction.
Well, you have to make a decision if you're going to, that's the first thing. You got to make a decision. Do you see it as a setback, a problem, period, or a setback, comma? Now, when you all went to school, I went to school, they told us that a period meant end of the sentence, no more to be said. And when I was in Australia, they call it a full stop, no more to be said. That's the end of this story. A comma, on the other hand, means pause, transition. There's more to this story. Just hold on. There's more to come. When you have a setback, whether it's financial or whether it's grief-filled or whatever it is, you have to decide, is this a setback, period? This is the end of my story, the end of this whole process, or this is a comma. There's more to here. Let's keep going. And those are the people who transform those minutes of down and despair into triumph. And Willie, one of the things I'd like to tell people, that triumph is made up of the word try and umph. You got to try, and you got to give a little extra umph. And you keep giving that umph and you keep trying, you'll get some triumph.
Like it. And